And it also included, we talked about curb gutter sidewalk earlier, to help with the problems throughout the community. It calls for curb gutter and sidewalk, and pipelines to a storm drain system to collect the water from there and get it to the holding basin down below. Well, overall, this is $11 million. So this is very, very expensive. We all recognize that this may not be possible to do, at least in the short term. But that was our contribution to Oceano at this time, was to show you that there is a solution. It's just very expensive. One of the things some of the people were talking about is the curb and gutter and the sidewalk and the responsibility or the regulations requirements to build sidewalk. I just wanted to remind the board that up until about 2 or 3 years ago, we didn't have as much of a regulation on Oceano for sidewalk. And the county, in response to a request from your board, your previous board, changed those regulations, and so we have a lot more requirements on putting curb and gutter than we used to in Oceano. And there are a lot of good things to go with that. There's also a lot of problems because of the Oceano's topography. It's very difficult to design curbs and gutters that work, especially on preschool basis. It does cause blocking the drainage on one house, causes problems in neighboring houses. This is a kind of problem that we, in our function as the people that are designing this curb and gutter system, are running into and trying to implement that.
Excuse me, your point is taken that this board, the previous board, did make recommendations of that nature. We may consider that further. Barbara, you had a question?
Yes, I remember when the study was done. In fact, a couple of our board members, I believe, were on the committee on that study. And correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't the end thing was to take care of this, we would have to have assessment districts formed to pay for that. The taxpayers would have to vote the money.
That's exactly correct. Something along those lines, assessment district, some funding mechanism that would raise the money from the community.
Because that would have, I believe I'm correct, it would have to be an assessment district,
yes,
or a zone form,
right,
because this is not one of the powers that OCSD has, nor would we probably be able to gain it because we don't have the money.
Well, I don't argue with your board about what your powers are.
No, I mean that too.
But I recognize that you don't have any existing drainage systems or money coming in for drainage.
Yeah.
But I believe that you do have latent power of drainage that you could do the same thing that we could, as far as if your population would grant you a funding source, you could do the same thing we can. And we'd have to ask the same question. Your population would have to grant us a funding source if we were to do that. So
But we would have
we're on
to,
equal level up there.
you know, we would have to apply for the power and prove to the powers to be that we had funds to take care of this, either through an election of the people, because we don't have a general fund here.
That's exactly the same.
Our fire department can't.
My point is that's exactly the same
Yeah.
position as the flood regulation.
I just wanted to make it clear for everybody to understand that it probably takes an assessment district
That's
to pay for this.
For the overall project. Now, there may be some things to help this particular situation that are a smaller scale. They weren't really discussed here that could help this at a lower cost than $11 million.
I'd like Vern, let me let Vern ask a question. He's had one for a minute.
Appreciate coming down here and taking your time on this. As I understand it, you guys do the studies, and you're funded to do that.
We did this study,
Yeah, but it wasn't a study as far as this one particular spot or this one main
This
problem.
spot is part of one of the things we're talking about.
Okay. But it comes up with an expense problem in conjunction with everything else. And what I'm wondering is if your department could bring to the table a study that it would be acceptable to Caltrans, to where they could come with the money to get this drain through here and to get this drain where it drains and a way that it stays open in the sense that if they're bringing the money, but they can't do it without is this going to fix the problem type situation. If you can come up with a study, maybe we have something that we're actually getting somewhere and can get something done.
I won't say yes, we'll do that, but I think it's something, possibility we could look into. One of the things that's taking the essay is we would take that fund, we can't take it from our road fund because this isn't our road. I don't want to fight with Steve, but I think it is possible that Caltrans could do that because it is their road. But
not road, that's not ours.
no, but your road is what's the problem. I've had this discussion with you and your predecessors for many years. So we know that.
Well, recognize
But anyway,
also that Paso Robles Street floods and 13th Street floods at the same time. That Highway 1 floods, and the road bed there could be being undermined.
What I was going to say was, we could possibly take it out of the same general fund that the study came under. My hesitancy is this particular year, well, the years when we decided to do this, we have quite a bit of money in it. This year, because of this study and the fact that the state reduced our funding overall, as I'm sure you are, from property tax monies, and a lot of other things are going on around the county. That fund is pretty broke right now. So I'd have to take a look and see if there's some possibility of doing some things.
I think, I don't think we would be asking for any kind of study anywhere close to what has already been done, but just on this one small issue that we're looking on, because this one little area is our one main area. We're talking about, just a small study as far as what it's going to take to make sure that water continues to flow through there.
I think that, if I want to get into the specifics of the problem, I think it's to a small amount of very small degree county, there's some county involvement. There's more involvement in Caltrans, because their facility is the one that is mainly affected. I think there is railroad, obviously railroad involvement. Railroad is more difficult to work with than Caltrans, or the federal government or the county. But they are, they do have, a major player in the middle of this thing. And electrical exchange, I have to say, I believe is really causing a lot of problems because of what they did downstream from the culvert over the last 20, 25 years. I think if you look back in history,
right,
this area didn't flood very much until the vaults and the extra pipe and the sediment basin and all that put on the other side that messed up the hydraulics and the whole situation. So that any solution that really worked would have to have a large contribution by the vegetable exchange, and I don't know if anybody's even brought that to start talking to them about it. But I will look into that possibility of putting some staff time into some engineering. I know the fact that in your class Caltrans looked into it. I think we can look into it some. And nobody's ever come to a solution, a great solution.
Maybe we could ask Caltrans in light of the conversation that we just had, how that would work with what they're talking about, it would take to bring some money to this. Thank you.
Since I heard Caltrans name mentioned, I don't know whether getting